subscribing, sharing, commenting. I appreciate the dialogue and I appreciate the comments. Give me a minute here. Let me lower this light. It's a little bit bright. I'm going to keep this video short. I have like 4 hours of homework to do. If you guys don't know, I'm going through a very difficult course. I thought I was going to fail. Thank you for the words of encouragement for everybody. I passed the scenario portion. It was just crazy, man. I can't even talk about it. Like I can't even go through the content. Can't even talk. I don't have videos to show. It's not one of these classes where you can openly record videos, but I did pass, and it was that instruction block had to be the most difficult class, the most challenging class that I've ever taken. That block in that class. So I'm gonna keep this video short. I have so much stuff to do. Again, I need to know what's in this manual, and there's 26 learning dimensions that I need to understand before I present again tomorrow. Hopefully I'll pass. It's just crazy the amount of information that I need to present, and I need to hit all the points. If I don't hit all the points, my chances of passing are very minimal. So thank you everybody for your support. Hey guys, this is getting out of hand. This is really getting out of hand. So you guys know that I follow social media accounts. I have like a couple of people in my trust group who share a lot of information with me. And there's a security company in California that thinks that they're cops. I just want to tell you that it's a matter of time until we get a social media review. There's no way that I was going to do a social media review this week. I actually was going to do it. I'm looking around because I want to show you guys some tripods I had set up. Well, I won't get it. You guys get it. So I had tripod set up. I was planning on doing a social media review, and then I got swamped with my homework for this class that I'm trying to pass. It's a 40-hour class, and it's very difficult. So this company, they're going to be up for a social media review. This has gone way too far. Guys, if you're in California, if you're a private security company in California, you cannot drive around with red lights or blue lights. That's a big no-no. I think the California Vehicle Code section is like 21055. And if you're thinking, well, Sean, let me double check. Go ahead, go verify. I don't know if that's the exact code, but guys, use common sense. So let's just say I was off a number. Let's just say that's not the real California Vehicle Code. Well, let me actually write that down. So I can 21055. I can double check on that later. But let's just say it's the wrong one. Like, do you really think it's a good idea as a security company to be driving around with red and blue lights? If you own a security company, you're stacking up your dominoes for liability. That doesn't make any sense. You're stacking up your chances of liability. You're stacking up your chances that one of your employees is going to use those lights. I've been around the security industry a long time. I've been with some guys who drove around with red lights and blue lights. Like they show me, they would use the electronic horn on me just to mess around, and I knew that one of these days, they're going to use it in real life. So one day we were driving around in LA, and one of the guys wanted to show off his Chevy Caprice and was going through intersections, code 3. Another, I guess, friend of the family showed me his security car, which was a wannabe police car, and he eventually got arrested for impersonating a police officer. There's red lights on there, there's blue lights, he has a cage in there. Guys, if you set your units up like this, somebody's going to drive it like that. I worked for a security company in Orange County, okay? They gave me orange amber lights. Somebody needs some help. Well, you want to know who drove code 3 on the freeway? Kind of, it was me, right? Now, that's beyond the statute of limitations, and I won't let you know how fast I drove, but I drove code, I guess code 3, not textbook, but yeah, I guess you could call it a code 3. I mean, I didn't have blue lights. Going a little bit, maybe a little bit over the speed limit, but yeah, I had somewhere to go. Was that a good idea? No, absolutely not. If I were to be caught doing that, should I be arrested? Absolutely. Should I be cited? Absolutely. Should I be fired? Absolutely. So, you got to be accountable for your actions. But I'm telling you, you leave these units all hooked up with sirens and everything, someone's going to use it. Just a matter of time. I keep seeing the security company out there, like they're driving code 3 with red lights. I don't know where they're going. Does it matter? Why don't why doesn't their dispatcher call law enforcement to get there? Because law enforcement might be able to get there faster. And if they don't, what legal protections do you have as a security officer to roll code 3? Um, for police officers in California, if you roll code 3 you have the right of way, okay, you have that limited qualified immunity. Okay, you are protected unless you drive in a wanton disregard for life. You're generally protected. As a security officer, what are your legal protections? Your employer is not going to protect you because they're going to say that you driving code 3 was beyond the scope of employment. Even though you can argue, oh, well, you know what? My supervisor, my FTO trained me that way. Well, you think when it comes down to it, you think that your FTO is going to fill out a training manual that's going to say that I trained so and so on this date to roll code 3? Well, it's not going to say that. There's going to have a list of learning dimensions, and I guarantee you that in that list, it's not going to say emergency driving, because no intelligent security company is going to put into their policy manual emergency driving, in particular on public roads. They're not going to have that. But you might have a supervisor that might show their trainees how badass they are and drive stupid like that. Most of the time, guys, private security doesn't have the same EVOC training that law enforcement has. Not the same. And you might be saying, well, Sean, I don't know, I went to FLETC, or I went to the Correctional Officer Academy, I went to the Police Academy, and they showed me EVOC. Yeah, they showed you EVOC, but they also showed you that in order to qualify for this limited legal protection, you have to be a peace officer en route to an emergency call, or even an ambulance or EMS personnel. This is just getting out of control, guys. And I cannot be the one to call out everybody out. You guys need to do the same thing. You guys are on Instagram, social media, Facebook with all of these people who think that they're cops. It can't just be me calling them out. You guys got to help me out and do the same thing. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish by putting these lights on. I mean, I don't even know. It's really difficult to tell whether these cars are police cars or security vehicles. It's very difficult to tell from a distance. Okay. What other accusations can there be? Well, there can be the accusation that there is somebody impersonating a peace officer. Okay, imagine. Okay, this is an alleyway or even private property, and this car comes towards you like fast, puts on the brakes, puts on the spotlight, and then turns on the red light or the blue light. Well, would a reasonable person believe that they're free to leave? Absolutely not. Would the reasonable person believe that this person is a peace officer? And I would argue yes, because in California, those colors, red and blue, are limited to peace officers. Those of you who want to drive around with red lights and blue lights, I get it. I understand. I was there too before, and I made some stupid mistakes. I associated myself with some stupid people, and I've made stupid mistakes myself, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If you want to drive around with red or blue lights, become a peace officer, become a police officer, become a deputy sheriff. But I think that these people out here that are pretending to be cops, they're skipping the whole background investigation process. The oral interview, the background interview, the written test, the physical agility, the psychological exam, polygraph. They're skipping through all of those steps. And it doesn't have to be that way. Guys, if you're having problems or trouble becoming a cop, go through previous videos that I made about passing background investigations. And if you can't pass a background investigation in California, try, I don't know, try like a small town in Texas where there's like 5 people living there, and be a peace officer there. Maybe it might be easier to get into some of these departments. Florida is hard to get into now, and California has adopted the Florida standards where you need a police officer license. and California Post manages that now. It's hard. It's more difficult now. Yeah, do the bad apples skip through the or slip through the cracks all the time? All the time. But guys, be proud of what you do. Be proud to be a security officer. Not a lot of people want to do that type of work, but be proud. And if you have kids or people or like youngsters that look up to you, make them proud of you. And you guys should be proud on what you do. In my opinion, it's still an honorable profession. I know that some of you think like this is a stupid job. I get paid minimum wage. Um, there's no job security. I get it, I understand, but you need to level up into a different security field. Guys, you can make a living and a career from private security. You're gonna have to do your own research. You're gonna have to work up the ranks, but it's totally up to you. Not up to me. It's up to you guys. Okay. First Amendment audits. It, it drives me nuts when police officers and security um, don't understand that people have a right to record. Right? They have a First Amendment right. Now, on private property, it's a little bit different. In the malls, it's a little bit different because that's private property. A lot of these First Amendment auditors, they use the Prunier versus Vineyard, I think, Prunier decision, which doesn't even apply in most circumstances, but they use some legal logic. But for the most part, people can record from public areas. I'm so tired of seeing security officers telling these First Amendment auditors you can't record when they're recording obviously across the street and they're obviously trying to bait in everybody. Same thing with law enforcement. You know, we see them covering the camera. See, I've been catching on um, since like I want to say the mid 2000s. When I seen police officers all the time saying you can't record. I've even worked with police officers that say, "Oh, you can't record. It's against the law. It's you're recording a federal facility." And I used to always just think, you know what, you are you're not thinking clearly. There's going to be a law eventually that they're going to pass on law enforcement that's going to say that people have the absolute right to record as long as they are not interfering with your investigation. And what do we have? Fast forward like 12 years later, maybe 11 years later, there was a law that was written. And this was something totally foreseeable. We don't need a law that says that citizens can record because that law is inscribed in the First Amendment. Unfortunately, in California, police officers, a lot of them didn't know what they're doing, and they got caught on camera, caught on the wrong moment, and now they have to pass legislation for that. It's, I mean, it's common. A lot of this is common sense. Follow the Constitution. Okay. All right, guys. Gonna go through the comments here real quick. I have like 4 hours of studying to do, but I just wanted to get on air because I've been off for a while. Professional Security Journal, Mike is here. TB's here. Professional Security Journal says, I straight up just Instagram you about the Taser 10. I just saw your message on our break at my autonomous driving job. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'll check your message soon. Doug says, I want to know, is a Taser 10, is that even legal in California to have? I thought that was a firearm. And I guess if the argument is, well, yeah, it's a firearm and I registered it with an FFL in California, I guess the next question is that on the handgun roster in California? Because in California, when you buy directly from a dealer, and this does not include a private party transfer, your gun has to be on the handgun roster, and there's no way that there's a Taser 10 on the handgun roster. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Doug says State Guard MP is another route. Voluntary Army for California, part of the military, no contract. Oh, hey, Doug, thanks for bringing that out. So, yeah, so I looked into the Cal Guard, the MP, the military police unit, and they are not. I mean, it's I guess it's technically military, right? But our military guys that serve like full time, maybe full time MP, they're gonna say, come on, that's not like the military. Like I was in the real military and this is the fake one. I get it, understand, but it technically is military, guys. Will you see action out there? There's riots? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, you're like the secondary force. I mean, the first force would be, your Army National Guard with your MP units, your full-time MP units, and then you would have the reserves that would fill in, and you would come in like the last resort. You don't go through any type of boot camp. I talked to, um, I don't even know what rank it is, but somebody that was in rank. Um, and he told me that I only have to show up. There's no boot camp. There's no like, I guess, basic training. He says I just have to show up to their monthly meeting once and just rotate myself every single month inside of in their rotation. And I think, geez, you have to do like, I think it's 2 years. I can't remember. I think it's like a 1 year training program, like part time. And then he even said like you can take vacations if you want, and then just resume your monthly duties. Like you don't sign any kind of contract. It's really like, if you go in there and you say, oh, I'm military, and you try to get like benefits and everything, somebody, or let's just say, okay, you go to Home Depot or something like that, or somewhere, right? And then they're like, are you military? And you're like, yeah, I'm military. I'm going to get all these like recognitions and I don't know, discounts. The guy in back of you who has served in the military, like, I don't even want to say the real military, but we'll say like the military will totally look down on you. Um, so, but this is another route to go, guys. I mean, this gives you that, I guess, that law enforcement experience because their MP unit, their military police unit, they have like half of their unit is I think they were saying it's like former law enforcement, right, or retired law enforcement, and then the other half, um, I think, is like businessmen, right? You get like congressmen, just just some people who want to put military on their background, and then you have some who are actual guys in the military that actually served in combat, serve in infantry, or maybe they're Air Force and they served in some like supportive role or Navy. You name it, any branch, and then they just want to continue to serve. Boom, they get plugged into that the Cal Guard. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but look, that's guys. That's technically law enforcement. Um, I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of experience. I probably, like, unless you've been in law enforcement or like been near law enforcement a lot or been near correctional guys, maybe military guys a lot, it's you might feel like you're not going to fit in. um, I feel like I can communicate with military guys because I'm always interacting with them. Obviously I can interact with law enforcement, but I think for a lot of people they might feel uncomfortable and not continue with the commitment. The good thing is I think that if you do 2 years, you get your I think your college paid if it's a Cal State University. You get like it was like 10,000 a year, 20,000 a year. I don't know the numbers, guys, but hey, if you want to join the military, um, but you have too much obligations over here, and you want to technically like list this, or you want to list this on your resume, by all means do that. If you have nothing else to list, um, I I might do this in like 10 years or 6 years when I retire, just so that I can continue to be productive out there and my brain doesn't just go to waste. So I might do it. There's a physical fitness requirement. Keep that also in mind. But Doug, thank you for bringing that up. Maybe I should do a video on that because I talked to their, I think he was a lieutenant for like 20 minutes, and he really filled me in. So Doug says it's a 3-day boot camp at CSLO. So I think it's at San Luis Obispo. And if you go online, it does say that it's a 3-day boot camp. It might say 2 days, but when you call the actual like the the lieutenant or second lieutenant, who's ever in charge of this, he's the one that told me there's no boot camp. You just show up to the first meeting. Okay, and guys, it's not like boot camp. If you do have to go to some boot camp, it's not like they're gonna yell at you or anything like that. Um, I think it's just like an introduction to military culture. That's what it is. All right. Professional Security Journal says yes. Department of Military Branch has civilian officers. Yep. Guys, you can also be Department of Air Force. Yeah. So in Nevada, there's a Nellis Air Force Base. If you want to be a police officer and you don't want to be a city cop, go federal. Go apply at a military base. Okay, I'm telling you, they're always hiring because the pay's like crap, and the retirement's like crap. So they're always hiring. But if you want to just get your foot in the door, then get into DoD police. And I'm not putting. I know I have some subscribers that are DoD police. I'm not putting any of you guys down. I'm just saying that they're always recruiting. It looks like to me there's a high turnover based on the classified ads that I see all the time. Doug says yes. Have a few buddies in it. They love it. Good perks. Is that the Doug says yes. Do you have buddies in the California State Guard or the DoD place? Um, Professional Security Journal says it's classified. So I think he's referring to the Taser 10. He said it's classified as an AOW, any other weapon through the ATF. Okay, so maybe it's like, I don't know, like a flashbang or something like that. Oh my goodness, what did I just say that on camera? You guys know I got dinged for making some crazy, like making some videos that where I like blurred stuff out. It just the title, which just it just caught the authorities of YouTube. It's frustrating. So I'm trying to watch my language here. Gail says no taser does not use gun. No taser does not use gunpowder. Um, I don't know how I'm gonna comment to that one. I don't even know how to comment to that one. Professor Security Journal says you are incorrect. I mean, a gun doesn't have to. I'm not even going to touch on that. Confusing myself. Doug says it's a military unit was dispatched to Sacramento for security. They have security forces, me and fire. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So the California State Guard, and guys, even in other states like Tennessee, they have like their own state guard. A lot of states have their own state guard. You can tell because they're overweight. I'm not making fun of people that are overweight, but there's there's like very minimum standards to be in the California State Guard. It's not the California National Guard or like the Arizona National Guard. This is like the State Guard. The standards are lax. You have people there that have a huge belly. Not making fun of people that have bellies, but I'm just saying like when they're in the State Guard, just sometimes based on their shape. Okay, Gail says no, sir. I am an instructor for Taser in my Delt certifies through Axon and Taser. No, no gunpowder is used. It's a gas that's in. I mean, I don't mean to put anybody down, but if you're an instructor for Taser, at least like you would know how to spell Taser right. And I don't know what you mean by put my Delt certifies. I'm obviously these are all typos. Again, if this is just your finger being you not having control over the pad, or you like accidentally touching other buttons, I could see. But come on, if you're a Taser instructor, that's not how you spell Taser. The Professional Security Journal says, I am an Axon instructor who has been hovering over the T10, the less lethal implemented model, the first to use gunpowder, is restricted to sworn personnel only at the moment while in its beta. Mike from the Professional Security Journal says you're incorrect. Wait a minute, he's telling himself that he's incorrect. Is Mike gone crazy? Oh no, he's referring to somebody else. Um, I've gone crazy. Doug says they have immediate tuition reimbursement for college and awesome training. There's some military perks. He's talking about the state guard. I mean, again, guys, if you want to be recognized for what you do for a living, I think security is still like, don't be ashamed on what you do. But if you want like a public role, then join the state guard. I'm sure they do a background check, but I'm sure it's not like the same background check that you would get in law enforcement. And okay, looks like we're frozen, I guess. And you could technically be part of law enforcement. TV says, I thought it was an article I read from the guy saying that it's going to be considered a gun through the eyes of the ATF. Mike says he's a no. Hey guys, you guys don't realize this, but Mike is an Axon instructor. He's not a taser instructor. He didn't take some online class. He went through the full blown law enforcement Axon course. Mike, he does some really good research. Whatever Mike says, I'm going to agree with it in regards to taser. Gail says, okay, Big Chief, whatever you think. Randy says, DOD PD works with our boy in, Point Higimi. I can't pronounce that. That's right. That's right. I know. I know. Gail says pardon typos. Yeah, you guys, professional taser instructors will spell taser right, and you like to put a Z is intentional, but yeah, definitely watch your typos. University Security and Training Solutions. Just checking in. Hey, just checking in. Welcome to the live stream. All right, guys. So I'll be out of here. I have like so much stuff to study tonight. It's not even funny, and I have like 4 hours. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.